Hi, this is Red with Red Dragon Leo. This is Saturday. I'm doing my weekend report for the first week of August, coming up August the 2nd. We are looking at the monthly chart here, and as you can see, we're still on sell mode, regardless of all the big rallies that we've had the entire month. The chart is still not showing any signs of turning up, and the month is about over. Well, it is over, I guess. Yeah, that was it. That was it. And it did put in a lower bar on the histogram tower, uh, and it is still pointing down here. So, and here it still hasn't rolled back over yet, but that's to be expected. So literally, this could have been on a monthly basis. Again, I'm not an Elliott wave person, but I do know that the market moves in threes and fives and waves like that. So if that was, a wave one down, then we just had our wave two up. And that means that we're looking for wave three down in August. Well, what would that look like? Well, if we go back here, this is wave one down, and this is wave two up. Only it took 2 months, and this took, I don't know, 5-6 months. And then here was our wave three down. Now, I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen, but that is kind of the possibility. If you go back over here and look at this, this would be more accurate. Possibly here, looking at this, and we got 1, 2, 3 months down, and then we had our 1 month up, and that's this July, and then we had 1, 2 months down again, and then we had up again. So in this went in 5 ways. If you look at it, I mean, it went 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then back to 5. And that whole move was a wave 1, and then you had a wave 2 up here, and then finally a wave 3 down. So that was like an A, a B, a C. But inside the first wave, it looks like there was a 5 wave, and this one here, I guess there was the same kind of scenario here. You had a kind of a wave up, wave 1 up to, well, on this wave here, you had a down, an up, which would have been like wave 1, 2, then a big 3, back here to this peak would have been a 4, and a final 5. So kind of the same scenario here. When you look here, we basically have completed our wave 1 down, and I think we've done our wave 2. I think it's about ready to roll over, because it really, this whole month really didn't do nothing to roll this thing back up. It doesn't even look like it wants to even attempt to roll up. So that's bad on a monthly basis. That's telling me that August could be pretty ugly. And the weekly chart, it's still got room to go, okay, but you got to understand that when we have these huge histogram bars either above the zero line or below the zero line, when they go back to the other side, they will always be smaller in comparison. And that is usually because of the underlying larger frame chart that is not allowing it to do so. Like, for example, right here, during this time period that we went up, well, all this move here, the monthlies was pushing it up. So every time it'd want to fall down, it would, pop back up again. And when it finally did go down below zero, it's a much smaller histogram towers below as compared to what was above. And then same thing here. We've got a huge one down, which tells me that we're not going to have very much of one up and above if we have one at all. There's nothing to say that we're going to, because it looks like we're running out of time. Because if the monthly, it's possible next month could have a pause month. And while this weekly goes up for 4 weeks and makes a small histogram towers like this before it rolls back over. But I don't know if it's going to do that or not. This here did look, it was earlier looking like it was curling up, but now it's kind of flattened out, and so it could roll over at any given time. If we put one histogram tower bar further down, lower than the previous one, that tells me we're done and we're not going back up and putting in higher bars before rolling. Plus this here is not looking good here the way it wants to curl over. So while I'm thinking it's possible it could go up to 50 before it rolls over, it's not looking like it wants to. And so you got to understand this weekly chart is controlled by the higher powered chart, which is again the monthly in this case. And so the monthly, like I said, we could go up here and a little bit more, but it certainly doesn't look like it wants to, with the fact that it's sloping down here. It's losing steam. Here again, same thing. It's sloping down. It's coming up on the 50. It was up above it. It rolled down below. It's banging back on it. So you know, that means it's equal buying and selling at that point on the relative strength. I mean, so on a monthly basis. But this here is very, very telling that it's still very bearish out there right now on a monthly basis, which means the weekly is still going to have trouble and still pointing down here. Okay, I'm getting back up to the daily, sorry. But here you can see if this thing curls up and takes this this negative DI line with it on a monthly, we're going to have a nasty month down next month. So it's not looking good on the weekly or on the monthly, and the weekly is looking like it is getting close to running out of steam. I don't know what's going to happen for next week, but you can see here it went up here and hit the 1121 20 period moving average there, the blue line. It tagged it perfectly, sold back off. So it's you know, it's looking very close to being done at this point. I really do think that there's a possibility of a big sell-off, and one of the main reasons for that is because not only do you have the monthly that's still putting downward pressure on it, but the weekly depends upon, it needs support from the daily as well, and for it to go up. And as you can see, the daily is just, it's way overbought. It's spent way too many weeks up above here. So it is getting tired, and it could roll over at any time. And you know, as you can see, we did hook back up a little bit. And this here ADX line is going to roll up at some point here, probably starting next week. And when it does, it's going to take one of these lines with it. So you just gotta, you know, you gotta ask yourself, do you think it's going to be the weekly is still going to be able to push this thing up, or is this going to go ahead and roll over? I just honestly don't see where it's going to get the strength to come and make another histogram tower bars here. I mean, if it does, it's going to be a smaller one, putting in a triple negative divergence as it would be moving up and it goes down. It's possible. I mean, I'm not going to say it's not, but from what I see, this is looking very close to ready to roll over, and if so, then you know, next week it's going to be an ugly week. And you go look at the 60 here. You can see the 60 is working its way up. Still hasn't turned up yet. It still has turned down. So I don't know about the 60. It needs to go up here and work itself off and put in a little lower histogram tower bar. It's got the best chance on Monday because it's mutual fund Monday and quarterly Monday, so there'll be some money coming in into the market to rally it up. So it's possible that it maybe goes up back here Monday and back test this, and then once it gets worked off, Tuesday could be very, very, very ugly as it gets ready to roll over. By that time, this daily could also be ready to roll over, especially if it puts in a lower bar here. If that thing rolls over and the 60 lines up to roll over, and then the weekly You know, if it goes, we won't know because it's a weekly, but again, it's looking like it wants to roll over. So smaller time frames, you got the 15 here. It's showing that it sold off a little bit in the morning. I mean, in the close, and but they'll probably work that off throughout the weekend session or pre-market session. That'll probably be worked off, and I wouldn't sweat that too much. So it could open flat or down a little bit either way, but I think by the end of the day, Monday, it's going to be up just based upon the 60, because the 60 needs to go up. I think Monday will probably be the high of the week is what I would say. And if it don't bust out of this line, I think we're looking at a big move down. I think it's coming. I really do at this point. So okay, that's it. I guess I'll see everybody Monday.